Hey, okay, good morning. Okay, I'm live. I feel like I'm crooked, but I'll still hopefully come across straight to you. So I want to take a minute, and I could talk about this for probably 2 hours straight without stopping, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. But I want to talk to you for a minute about intuitive eating. And before I dive into this, I just want you to know that if you'd rather read, I did a pretty lengthy post on this on my website, momsrunningclub.com, and you can go to momsrunningclub.com/intuitive eating. There's a handout you can get. You can read the whole post because, like I said, I could talk about this for a really long time, and I'm going to try not to talk about this for a really long time. But what I want to share with you today is kind of a more loving and kind and just a way to eat and a way to think about your health and your nutrition that is intuitive and anti-dieting, and ultimately it's all about you learning how to eat for the rest of your life in a way that will make it anti-obsession, anti-counting, and really, I would say, hey girl, I would say very loving, and that's the goal. Moms Running Club, my mission with Moms Running Club is just to empower moms and women and everybody, but really to tune in and realize that all of this obsessing and counting that we've been doing for all of these years, I know for myself, it kind of probably started in the 80s when we kind of went like low calorie diets and everything was evil and we ate a lot of fake foods. That way that we've been thinking about food and eating it's not mentally and emotionally healthy. Forget physical health. And we can talk about all the reasons that dieting is bad, and I'm going to in a minute, but it's not mentally and emotionally healthy. And as moms, we get to a point in our lives where it's just time to get off of that treadmill, and we love the treadmill, but get off of that treadmill of hating your body and counting calories and trying a new diet every month, and just it's time to just get to a place where we take really great care of ourselves because we love ourselves, and also because we want to live in a way that will be the kind of role model we want to be for our children. And for me, that's what I really want to see moms embrace, is this idea that we can eat really well and show our kids how to eat really well and enjoy our lives and enjoy food and enjoy nutrition and not be obsessive. And I could talk about this for a really long time, so I'm going to try to get into a few points. As I said, I'll say this over again because I want you to know I'm going to hit a lot of points really quickly, and I want you to know if you want to dive deeper, I did a post, momsrunningclub.com/intuitive eating. Or intuitive-eating. Either way, you're going to get the information. The first thing I want to share is why dieting does not work. So I'm talking here about intuitive eating, and I'm talking about listening to your body. And dieting is the exact opposite of that. So if you want to eat right for the rest of your life, what you want is a diet that is yours and yours alone and really works for you and your lifestyle and the foods that you love and the foods that you don't love, and the foods that are nutritious, the foods that really support your health and your wellness, and the foods you want to, if you're going to eliminate any food, eliminate the foods that aren't kind to your body, that don't make you feel great. So the best diet, and I don't like the word diet, to me diet is a 4-letter word, but the best diet that works for you is the one that you create by listening to your body and by tuning in, and that is what intuitive eating is. But real quick, why do diets not work? First of all, it's the opposite of intuitive eating, as I've said. A diet plan or a diet program is you listening to some guru, somebody who wrote a book, somebody who got published, and saying, okay, I'm gonna eat their way. And that's not your way. That's not you listening to your body. And before I'm not saying any diet guru is bad. In fact, they're probably all very, very well intentioned. And they probably all believe that their method is the best because it's worked for them. So I could come on the scene and I could find a publisher and say, this is how I eat and I love it and it's great and it works for me. And I found 20 other people it works for. But just because I have 20 people that it works for doesn't mean that there's not 2 million people that it's not right for. So diet gurus, I believe they're all good people, but they get published because they have this really neat idea and because a publisher says, wow, this is a great idea. This is really interesting. This is really fascinating. This is paleo. This is low carb. This is high fat. This is you name it, what intermittent fasting, what's the trend right now? The publisher says, okay, now this could be the next big diet trend, and this book could sell millions of dollars, and I could make a lot of money, and the author could make a lot of money, and so let's sell these books. However, if you'll notice, there's a reason that the term is called diet trends, right? There's a reason that these trends have come and gone, hundreds and thousands of them over the years, because they are trendy, and they're not right for everyone, and they've all kind of gone away eventually. And so all of these diet trends, and again, all of these diet gurus are well-meaning people. They've all gone away because they're not right for everyone. And so there is no diet book that is right for everyone. It's really a matter of you taking and learning and listening to your body and trying different things and eventually finding a way of eating that is right for you. That's what I call intuitive eating. So real quick, when you diet, when you go into low calorie mode, your body is going to be angry at you. There's a couple different things that are going to happen. First of all, if you, let's just say today is a super busy day and you don't eat enough. Or let's say you put together 2 or 3 days where you're just too busy to eat, right? And you're thinking, oh wow, look at me, I'm dieting or whatever. Chances are, and tell me if you haven't noticed this, but chances are in a day or two, you're going to find that there's a day where you are ravenous and you are going to want to eat everything in sight. That's kind of what dieting does to you. Dieting, your body gets mad. Your body's going to rebel and your body's going to try to find equilibrium somehow. So when you diet, the first thing that it does is it tells your body, we're starving and now we need to figure out how to find equilibrium. And if you can, first of all, you might find that in a day or two, you're going to be starving and you're going to eat everything in sight. Or just think about those days where you don't have time to eat until 5 o'clock. You get home and you literally just eat everything in sight. I know for me, that happens all the time when I'm at work and I thought I brought enough calories and I didn't bring enough calories and I come home and I'm like, okay, how can I feed my face to just try to find that equilibrium? So that's the first thing. Your body's going to say, we've been calorie restricted, give us more, okay? If you continue to calorie restrict, your body is going to go, wait, the calories aren't coming. So what do we need to do? We need to slow down our metabolism so that we can survive, because you're putting your body in survival mode when you start starving yourself. So we have to slow down the metabolism. That's the first thing that we don't love that dieting does, is it slows down our metabolism. And we also have to start potentially, this is bad guys, we have to potentially start burning muscle for energy. So there's so many reasons that calorie restricted diets are not healthy, they're not good for your body. Chronic yo-yoing, there's a whole host of issues that comes with chronic yo-yoing. Let's talk about osteoporosis, let's talk about heart health. There's just so many things that your body does not love about calorie restriction and dieting. Okay, so hopefully I've convinced you that dieting is kind of, if you are a person who wants to take really great care of yourself, who wants to model great health for your family, who wants to just feel good and be happy and be able to go out to dinner and have fun and enjoy life and enjoy food, dieting should become a 4-letter word. Diet is a 4-letter word. Okay, so if you were to decide never to diet again, if you're still not convinced, let's talk about what you have to lose, okay? If you were to say, I'm never going to diet again, what would you lose? Okay, a lot of people will be like, well, I would lose hope, right? I would never, like, maybe that next diet is going to be the one, right? Okay, I would just say, if it hasn't happened by now, there's probably not a perfect diet plan out there. There's probably not a book out there for you. So what would you lose? You would lose the stress and emotional toll of hoping that next diet is the key. It's going to unlock your health and your wellness forever. This new diet, I got to try it. You know what? I'm going to try it, and I know it's going to be the answer. And that's how we always feel when we start a diet. I did it for years. You think this is it. This is going to be great. This plan, it seems to work for me. So, but then you eventually, like life takes over. It becomes hard. You're hungry, you're cranky, you can't go out to dinner with your friends. And so eventually you go off of it. And then you've got that roller coaster of, well, that didn't work. I guess I'm destined to hate my body forever and be unhealthy. Okay. So if you were to quit dieting, you would lose that roller coaster. That would suck, right? Just kidding. It would not suck. But what would you gain? Okay, let's talk about what would you gain if you decided to never diet again? Okay, if you were to never diet again and decide to start listening to your body and decide to start eating for health and for happiness and to start tuning in and figuring out what your body loves and what your body really and truly wants to eat, you would gain freedom. Okay, you would gain freedom from ever having to go on Amazon and search diets again, go to the bookstore and go to that ginormous diet section again. You would gain freedom. You would just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm getting off this treadmill of dieting, and I'm going to start tuning in and listening to my body. So you would gain that freedom. Now, if you truly commit and you decide, I'm going to learn how to take care of my body, I'm not going to buy another diet book, I'm not going to start another diet, I'm going to simply listen to my body and let my body tell me what to eat, you would also gain confidence. Because I promise you, if you say to yourself, I'm in this, I'm done with dieting, diet is a 4-letter word, and I'm going to take care of my body, the confidence that comes, and it will take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I would tell you, I got off the scale 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. At that time, I was just done with the scale. That's a different topic, but it fits really well with intuitive eating. When you get off the scale, and I just did a post on ditching the scale. So go momsrunningclub.com. I think it's called Bye Bye Scale. You can type that in, momsrunningclub.com/Bye Bye Scale. When you get off the scale, you suddenly have to start thinking about your health in a different way. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the sizes anymore. It's about how I feel in my own body, okay? That getting off the scale, deciding I'm going to tune in, it takes time. It's an education. If you've never tuned in, it's challenging. It can be hard. It can be like, I don't know. My body doesn't give me cues. Your body gives you cues. You just haven't been listening, and it's time to start tuning in. But I promise you, when you take the time and you commit 3 months, 6 months, a year, the rest of your life, and start tuning in, the confidence that you gain when suddenly you eat what you want because you eat what makes you feel good. You enjoy your treats because there's room for treats in this world. There's room for treats in this life, especially if you're eating well most of the time. You can go out with friends anytime you want, and you are going to be able to eat and have fun. It's not going to be like, I can't go to that restaurant because that restaurant doesn't fit with my diet. So you just really gain so much freedom when you decide, I'm done with diet plans and I'm going to start listening to my body. Intuitive eating is an act of self-love, okay? And who doesn't want to feel loving towards yourself? We love on our children, we love on our partners, we love on our family, and yet when it comes to food and nutrition and caring for our bodies, we beat ourselves up. And it's time to get off that roller coaster and say, I'm going to love myself as much as I love my kids. I'm going to talk to myself in the same way that I talk to my kids. I'm going to love myself as much as I love them. Getting off the scale and deciding to never diet again and deciding to start eating intuitively, listening to your body and eating for good health, that's all self-love, okay? So I'm going to get to like 5 principles, and I'm trying to make this not take too long, but it's all about becoming a student of your body. What's so cool is you can go and buy another diet book, right? And then you have to refer to this manual, okay? And this becomes your Bible, and this becomes your guide, and you have to listen to it every day, and you have to, okay, does this fit? Does this work? Am I allowed to eat this? 24/7, you're walking around in your body, all right? So you don't have to worry about the Bible, you don't have to worry about the journal, you don't have to worry about counting and writing and whatever. Instead, you just walk around in your body and you feel how feeding it feels. It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool. Your needs are not the same as mine, okay? I have certain ways I like to eat, certain foods I don't like, certain foods I love that you might not love. You may love a steak, I don't love a steak. It's just me. My body doesn't like wine. I love wine. My body doesn't like it. So I have figured out how to eat for me, and you need to figure out how to eat for you. Again, I'm going to go back to the diet gurus are probably eating great for them. So if you pick a book off the shelf and that person thinks they've figured it out, but they figured it out for themselves, okay? And it's time for you to figure it out for yourself. So become a student of your body. Okay, this is a big one. And I really, really want to emphasize this. I'm trying not to take forever. There are no bad foods. okay? There are no evil foods. There are no foods that don't fit in your diet plan. There are only foods that make you feel great and give your body great nutrition and give you energy. And then there are foods that are treats. And then there are foods that you just decide you don't like, you're not going to eat anymore. So there's kind of 3 categories of foods. There's no bad foods. Oreos aren't bad. Pringles aren't bad. Wine isn't bad. Diet Coke isn't bad. I am always trying to quit Diet Coke. But it's not a bad food. It's just a treat. So there are foods that give you tons of nutrition. There are foods that make you feel amazing. There are foods that you maybe don't love as much, but you know that they give you nutrition. Like, I don't know, maybe that's for you that's Brussels sprouts. There are nutrient-dense foods that give you energy. There are foods you've just decided you don't like and you're not going to eat, or foods that you've decided that food, for me it's gluten. Gluten and me don't agree. We don't get along. I've eliminated gluten because of how it makes me feel. And there are treats. And now those treats have no nutritional value whatsoever, but you love them and they bring you joy and they make you happy. And so there's room in your life for the treats. But there's no bad foods. We've got to get away from this idea of food, any particular food group or any particular type of food being evil. I'm going to say, you go to the bookstore, you go on Amazon, you're going to find a reason you can't eat meat, you can't have gluten, you can't have dairy, you can't have tomatoes, you can't have beans. Any food you name, most likely, I'm going to be able to find a resource that says that food is bad, that food is evil. And that goes to water even. I know there are books out there that say why drinking water is bad, or why you're drinking water is bad, or why you can only drink water if you went to the Swiss Alps and bottled it yourself, okay? And I'm here to say there are no bad foods. There are no bad foods. There are foods that work for you, there are foods that don't work for you, and there are treats, okay? So, we're going to get away from that. When we're getting away from the dieting mentality, we're also going to get away from the idea that there are foods that are evil. There are no evil foods. Excuse me, getting over a cold. Okay, so if you're used to dieting and your comfort zone is I need somebody to tell me how to eat, it can be difficult and challenging and scary to let go of dieting and say I'm going to eat intuitively. Your body will tell you what you need to know. It may take time to tune in. It may take time to start listening. It may take time to understand what your body is telling you. But your body will give you signs. And your body's probably giving you signs right now. If you haven't been tuning in, don't feel bad. You're normal. I didn't tune in until I was 40. So you don't have to be perfect at it. You have to understand. Please understand. Your goal is to establish a way of eating that will work for you for the rest of your life. You're never going to buy another diet book. You're never going to go on another diet. You're going to learn how to eat. So you've got the rest of your life to figure it out. And I promise if you tune in and you really care about your body and you really care for yourself and you really love yourself, it won't take you the rest of your life. It will take a few months, 3 months, 6 months. But if you were to commit a year of, I'm not going to get on the scale, I'm going to tune in, I'm going to listen to my body, I'm going to become a student of nutrition, and I'm going to become a student of my body, I bet in a year from now, you will feel amazing. And I'm here to support you along the way. Okay, so what are the signs that your body tells you you're eating well? Let's cover the yucky ones first. So if you have any of the following, let's say you have chronic headaches. Let's say your hair and your nails are crackly and yucky and dry and yucky. Let's say you're exhausted all the time. Let's say you sleep poorly. Your menstrual cycles are brutal, okay? If you have any of those, it's possible you're not feeding your body well. It's possible you're not giving your body the nutrition that it needs. Hey, Ashley. Love that you are meal prepping. Okay, so what are the signs that you're eating well? Okay, you have energy. You have energy throughout the day. You don't have blood sugar crashes. You feel... Here's a great one. If you're eating well and you're treating your body well, you feel great and you feel strong and you feel lean no matter what your weight is. Because your weight doesn't matter. If you're feeding yourself well, you're resting well, you're moving well, you're enjoying your relationships, it doesn't matter what your weight is. So what are the signs you're feeding your body well? You feel great. You feel happy. Your menstrual cycles are as pleasant as they can be, right? I mean, they're not brutal. We all have to live with them. Healthy skin, healthy nails. We're all going to have our ups and our downs, but you're mostly free of body symptoms like bloating and headaches and joint aches and that kind of thing. So your body is giving you clues. I'm hoping as I was going over that list, you're like, oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. And hopefully you have more of the good ones than the bad ones. But if you have the bad ones, it's okay. Because you know what? With good nutrition, water, listening to your body, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, you can resolve a lot of those body symptoms. If you are a woman who has, I'm hormonally imbalanced, I can't get my hormones in balance, just know I was there. I did the bioidentical, I did the essential oils, you name it, I tried it because my hormones were jacked and I was on the roller coaster. And now I pretty much just eat yummy food and try to enjoy my life, and my hormones are mostly balanced. So it's so possible. Your body wants you to feed it well. Your body wants you to live well. And if you tune in, you can get off that roller coaster. You can get off that roller coaster of trying to find a new diet book every other month and just feed your body well. Okay, so I'm going to hit some principles real quick. Again, these are all online. I've already done the post. momsrunningclub.com/intuitive eating. You can get a checklist there, or you can just read the post. But the principles. So how then do I eat? If I want to try this intuitive eating thing and I want to stop dieting forever, Corey, what do I eat? First of all, you eat. That's the best part. You have to eat to figure it out. You have to decide that you're going to stop counting, stop obsessing, stop letting somebody else tell you how to eat, and just start eating and enjoying food, and then paying attention. You're like, I'm not going to experiment with trying another diet. Instead, I'm going to experiment by making my body my lab, and I'm going to start eating and seeing how I feel. I especially would say, pay attention to what gives you long-term sustained energy. So what are the foods? Probably going to be in the protein, fiber, fat family. What are the complex carbs? What are the foods that help you to feel like you've got sustained energy throughout the day? What are the foods? Because nutrients like the vitamins in our vegetables and the nutrients in our vegetables, we don't always feel that. Especially right away, especially as you're trying to just start to tune in. I know I feel better when I'm eating lots of fruits and vegetables, but if you just go eat a salad right now, you're probably not going to be like, oh, I feel that vitamin C. I feel amazing. That's not really how it works. So as you're tuning in, start to pay attention to what are just the foods that give me long-term sustained energy throughout the day. Protein, fiber, fat, complex carbs. Those are probably going to be those ones. So what are those things that help you just feel, you avoid those blood sugar crashes? What are the things that help you feel great throughout the day? The goal is that you eat every meal and enjoy it and have energy from the start of the day to the finish of the day. And then at some point you have a treat. We're going to get to treats, don't worry. The second principle is small changes one at a time. So we talked about how this journey should be a journey for life, right? You're not looking to start another diet. You're looking to get off the diet roller coaster, off the diet treadmill, and instead say, I am done dieting and I'm going to start listening to my body and I'm going to eat right for the rest of my life. So you've got all the time in the world. Is it lose 20 pounds by spring break? It is not. That's not the game we're playing anymore. We're playing feel great tomorrow and don't worry about the weight. Get off the scale. Feel great tomorrow because I'm eating well today, and know that if I take great care of myself, my body will find its ideal weight. So small changes one at a time. So you may be somebody who likes structure, and that's great. So you may say, this week I'm going to add water. I'm going to be really diligent about my water. And then next week I'm going to add veggies. And then the following week I'm going to make sure I'm getting 2 servings of fish per week. Whatever those changes are, small changes one at a time will make this journey a whole lot better. And not only that, but if you make small changes, another reason to not stress yourself out over overhauling your dinner, overhauling your meal, overhauling your nutrition overnight, because that's what diet books do, right? When you start a diet, it's like, okay, there's 77 principles and I have to start living them tomorrow, but I can't remember them all, so I have to carry this little book around. So when you embrace intuitive eating, you can start making small changes one at a time. And the great thing about that is, A, it's easier on your life, but B, when you make a small change and you implement that one change and you say, I'm going to stick with this one change until either it's a habit, or if you like structure and you want to say, I'm going to give it 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, then you really know how that change is affecting your body. So since we're becoming a student of our own body, we're becoming a student of nutrition, then you really know how that change affects your body. And then you're like, okay, on water I feel really good. I'm going to keep this habit. And then, you know what, next week I'm going to start eating more veggies. And after a week or two, I'll add in another habit. But I'll spend that week or two with those veggies really seeing how I feel. So that's principle number 2, small changes one at a time. I also would say, when it comes to making small changes, this is a time when this principle is a place for trying elimination stuff. If you, I know for me, going off gluten was an experiment. Just wonder how, got enough reasons to try it. I wonder how I'll feel off of it. So that small change one at a time principle is a great time to say, maybe I'd feel better off dairy. Maybe I'd feel better off meat. If you're thinking about, there's a food that I think I love, I know my taste buds love, but I'm not sure my body loves, that's a good time to try to say, you know what, let's see what happens. I'm going to take a week off and just see how my body feels. Okay, the third principle is mindset, which is, I'm all about mindset. I'm all about the messages you're sending yourself. And I love, love, love the intuitive eating mindset, because it's, again, this whole journey is about self-love. This whole journey is about taking great care of yourself. But it's just before each day or before each meal or throughout the day, you know, what are the messages you're sending yourself about how to eat? I love, for me, it began with, I'm tired of the scale bullying me. My mindset was, I am smarter than the scale is not my friend, and I'm not going to listen to the scale anymore. I'm going to listen to my body. That was a mindset change for me. Another one that I love is, I want to eat better so that I can be a living example of how to eat for my children. And especially, this is a big one, for our daughters, I want to nail my issues with food because I never want my daughter to have issues with food. I want to eat right so that I can teach her how to eat right. How about this one? I'm going to talk to myself in the way that I would talk to my daughter about eating, about nutrition, about body love, about taking care of herself. My mission is, when my daughter goes off to college, I want her to eat great for health and to know that, obviously not alcohol until she's 21, of course, but there's room for treats, there's room for alcohol when she's 21, there's room for pizza at 2 a.m., there's room for all of that. If she learns how to eat right for her own body, she's going to know, I'm going to eat right most of the time, and then I'm going to enjoy my 2 a.m. pizza once in a while, right? So that's what I have to learn that now for myself so that I can teach her that. Because I can't teach her that if I am eating like a basket case and we go out to dinner and I don't eat because I'm on this diet, right? No, I'm eating to enjoy food and I'm eating to love my body, and that's what I want to teach her. So principle number 3 is mindset, how you talk to yourself about your health and your nutrition. Principle number 4 is the 80-20 principle. This is a great one. This is a great one because I told you we were going to get to treats. This is where we talk about 80% of your daily nutrition, your weekly nutrition, your lifelong nutrition is dense, healthy, nutrient-dense, healthy foods, and 20% is fun, okay? So if you are eating 80% of the foods that you put in your body are nutrient-dense, energy, whole foods, foods that you recognize, ingredients that you recognize, foods that you cook yourself, then you know what? When it comes time for that 20%, have fun. I mean, if you're eating 80% nutrient-dense, whole foods that you can recognize, I promise you a Pringle is not going to derail your goals. I promise you a glass of wine is definitely not going to keep you from achieving your goals. So, and treats in some, some of us find some of our treats are healthy treats. My daughter and I are really loving right now trying to make desserts in the evening that are made from things like chickpeas and dates, and we're having fun with that. Sometimes you just want an Oreo, but we're having fun with that. So the fourth principle in intuitive eating is the 80-20 principle. 80% of what you eat is dense nutrition, 20% is treats, fun, cocktails, chocolate, even again, I would say Pringles, no nutritional value, right? But yummy, that makes them a treat. Okay, the fifth principle, and this is kind of, I call this principle number 5 is journal, and then the parentheses maybe, because you may not be a journaler, and you may be so thrilled to get off the diet roller coaster that you're like, I don't want to look at a book, I don't want to write anything down, I don't want to count anything, or you may want a journal as a kind of like a comfort move, I need to keep a little bit of control, I need to keep a little bit of structure, so I want to journal, and I want to journal what I'm eating and how I'm feeling. That's what's really important. When I say journal, I don't mean write down everything you eat. This is more big picture journaling. This is more of, today lunch was such and such, and I crashed at 2 o'clock, so that didn't work for me, and I need to try maybe tomorrow at my lunch, I need to make sure I add a little more fat or a little more protein. So you're really journaling how you feel emotionally. Emotionally, were you pretty stable today, or did you kind of have, a time? Our nutrition affects our emotions dramatically. So if you had a funky day, maybe your blood sugar was really low. Maybe there was too much sugar, not enough protein. How did you feel? Did you feel strong? Did you feel lean? Did you feel healthy? Did you feel energized? Did you feel, ready to take on the day? Did you have a slump at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? If you want to journal, go for it. If you feel like it's helpful for you to continue to have some structure, journal. Whether you journal, it might be just a note on your phone. You might like to carry around a notebook. You might enjoy that writing process. Whatever that is for you, and you may have to experiment with that. But just kind of journal how you feel that you're progressing on your fitness goals. So just, if you like to journal, that's a great step. The other ones are kind of non-negotiable. The other principles are kind of really essential to achieving that intuitive eating goal. Journaling may or may not be helpful for you. You may want to just simply tune in and live and enjoy your life and feel and go, okay, I feel really crummy right now. What just happened? Okay, need to avoid doing that. So whatever works for you. Okay, before I close up, I want to just remind you, there's a post. All this stuff is at momsrunningclub.com/intuitive eating. There's a handout you can get, which is a PDF with the principles. And then there's also I did a whole blog post there, and I'm going to post this video on that blog post in case you want to refer back to it. I hope you're finding this helpful. I would love to talk to you about it. If you are interested in intuitive eating and getting away from the scale and just enjoying life, I'd love to talk to you about it. Before I wrap up, I want to share two quick ideas. My favorite mantra, treat mantra, is I can have that but later. So one of the principles or one of the ideas behind intuitive eating is that there are no bad foods. And a big dieting thing, think about how many times you started a diet, and before you go on a diet, you're not going to be allowed to have M&Ms tomorrow, so you're going to eat a pound of M&Ms tonight. So with intuitive eating, if there are no bad foods and 20% of what you're eating is treats, then M&Ms are not going to be off limits. So when you're no longer obsessed, when you're no longer deprived and there's no longer bad foods, then you're no longer going to say, I need to eat a pound of M&Ms, or I haven't had M&Ms in a week and a half and now I'm going to eat a pound of M&Ms. It's more of, I can have M&Ms. I can have M&Ms whenever I want. But you know what? I'm going to save them for later. I personally like my treats. This is just my personal preference. I like to have a treat late morning. I usually have a little bit of dark chocolate late morning. And then I like to have a treat in the evening after dinner. I grew up in a household where we had ice cream or dessert every night after dinner. And so that habit has stuck with me. So when it comes to treats, my favorite mindset, mantra, kind of intuitive eating idea is I can totally have that, but I'm going to choose to have that later. When it comes to alcohol, for example, I'm like, I can have alcohol anytime I want, but I think I'm going to save it for Friday night. When the stress is, I'm finally chilling for the weekend, and I'm just going to have a cocktail or two. So there's nothing that's off limits, and you don't obsess. When you're on a diet, you tend to be obsessed. Nothing's off limits, and I can have anything I want. I can eat anything I want. I'm just going to choose to have it later. So, finally, the last thing I want to do, if you get nothing from today, or if you're just tuning in, I just want to remind you that, and this kind of goes to 80-20, this goes to no bad foods, you are the sum total. If you're going to think about intuitive eating and not dieting ever again, consider it like a rest of your life decision. And know that your nutrition and how your body feels and your health is the sum total of all of your choices. So one day or one weekend or 1 week of bad, less than ideal nutrition won't derail you from your goals. So this whole idea of, oh my gosh, I just ate an Oreo, I need to eat the whole bag because I feel so guilty. That goes away. That should go away, because you're going to say to yourself, I just ate an Oreo. Oh well, I've eaten great all day long. I had a great workout. I'm going to drink a giant glass of water and I'm going to move on. No bad decision when it comes to your nutrition will derail you from your goals in the big picture, okay? You go on spring break. You have an awesome time. You eat out every night. You eat out every morning. You have breakfast out every morning. That, in the grand scheme of your life, which intuitive eating should be a lifestyle for the rest of your life, it doesn't matter. It's a blip, because you're not going to go on another diet. You're just going to go back to eating well and treating your body well. So this whole intuitive eating, I would love to talk to you more if you have questions or you want to chat. It's a yummy way to live. It's a delicious way to live. There's no bad foods. Food is nutrition, food is energy, and food is pleasure. Food is joy. So there's no bad foods. Eat to feel good. You can have anything you want. Just as you're eating a pile of M&Ms, be thinking, okay, how is this going to make me feel? I've peanut butter M&Ms. I'm just going to be honest, peanut butter M&Ms. I don't eat them well because if they're in the house, I'm going to eat them all. So there's no bad foods, but you know what? That has not derailed me from my goals. Oops, maybe don't bring them in the house next time. Maybe buy a smaller portion because I'm going to eat them all. So it's a yummy way to live. It really is a delicious way to live, and it's a guilt-free way to live. And it's a healthy way to live. You're free of obsession, you're free of counting, you're free of beating yourself up, you're free of guilt. And instead you get to enjoy food. You get to live as an example for your family. You get to teach your children how to eat because you're doing it, you're living it. Get off the scale, get off the roller coaster, enjoy life and enjoy food. And of course move, that's a different topic. This is about eating, but of course move and run. And so I'm gonna wrap up now. This went way longer than I intended, but momsrunningclub.com/intuitive eating, there's a PDF you can get, or momsrunningclub.com/intuitive-eating is where the big post is. And I'd love to talk to you about it. Either way, I hope you got something from today that's going to make you think twice about another diet plan and instead just realize that your body tells you what you need. It might be hard. It might take time. You might have to be patient with yourself. You might have to be kind to yourself. But if you tune in and start listening, you have all the answers. You're carrying them around with you 24/7. Okay? Hope you guys have an amazing day. It's sunny here. I hope it's sunny where you are. Go eat some yummy food and drink lots of water and then enjoy a treat. See ya.